Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It is the 19th of December 2011, and as I promised in the video that I have either not uploaded yet, or the one that I uploaded yesterday, or the other one I uploaded today, we were going to take a look at some GeekBench and CineBench scores for the 15-inch early 2011 MacBook Pro. I've got GeekBench open right now. You can see the specifications of the processor: 2.2 gigahertz quad-core Intel i7, 8 gigs of RAM. We are on the latest build of OS X. I'm not actually going to run the test right now because my 1080p screen recording would vastly alter the scores, but I have run it before. I have it saved here in my GeekBench account. You can see the score is 10,180 with my specs, as you just saw. I'll leave this open. Please watch the video in 1080p so you can read this. Easier anyways on your eyes. Make it full screen. You can actually read the different values that it scored here. But there's all the different scores of this machine. I also opened this up, and you can see that the newest one, the late 2011 with the 2.4 gigahertz processor, so 0.2 gigahertz faster on all four cores, gets about 200 points higher. It's 10,489, so this is definitely no slouch still, but that's the new 15 high-end, and mine is the old 15 high-end, so it's only about 300 points or so, not too bad. So these GeekBench scores are very good. They're higher than the Mac Pro that I tested in my local Apple store. Now, if that one only had 3 gigs of RAM, and I don't know if it was the latest high-end processor, but the MacBook Pro series really is just a monster in terms of performance. It outdoes some of the 27-inch iMacs that I've worked with, some of the newest ones, in terms of this score. So if you go by this score, the numbers are pretty good. We're going to take a look at CineBench. This is also a free download. I'm not going to run it now for the same reasons, but here's what it looks like. I get 38.76 frames on OpenGL, frames per second, and then the CPU is 5.23 points. Both of those are pretty good scores. As you can see, you can CineBench, just go download it for free, run it. These were on the dedicated graphics card over the discrete. The discrete card was, of course, significantly lower, but if we're going to test graphics, we should test it on the higher-end graphics card that is built to be used for more demanding tasks. Anyways, I wanted to keep this a short video. There it is. There are the results of the scores that the early 2011 15-inch MacBook Pro achieved. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our site at techinform.us. The links are down below. My Twitter is twitter.com/JamesRSchultz. And subscribe if you like the content. Talk to you guys in a later video. Bye-bye.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Ryan Knows Tech with our technology-oriented blog, techinform.us, and I've got the awaited review, really just a look around the early 2011 15-inch MacBook Pro. I got this in June or July. I meant to make a review right away. Eventually, the newer MacBook Pros came out. The late, I think they're calling them, 2011 MacBook Pros. Really, the only thing that changed was the graphics and the processors. However, the graphics card in here and the processor in here are still used in the model, in the 15-inch models from today. They're just the lower-end model instead of the higher-end. This is the 2.2 gigahertz Intel Core i7 15-inch MacBook Pro. They're still using that. This was the high-end one. They had a 2.0 and a 2.2, so this is the higher position one. It retailed at, I believe, $14.99. This has got some upgrades on it. It has 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM from Apple. I didn't put that in myself. I just let them do it. It is much faster RAM than what I found on OWC, Newegg, Amazon, places like that. Crucial. The speed tests of the RAM are higher from Apple than anything that I've seen. And I've been very happy with this computer. I've used it a lot. Again, it's the quad-core 2720 or something like that. The graphics is the AMD 6750, which is 1 gigabyte of dedicated memory. And it also has the lower-end graphics, the Intel HD 3000. It's 512 megs. It's really only 384 megs, but if you have 8 gigabytes of RAM, it goes ahead and shares some more of that RAM, bringing it up to 512. So we're just going to take a real quick look around. I'm going to make another video going over the screen resolution in comparison. That's another thing I should mention. This has the upgraded resolution display to 1680 by 1050. The standard resolution is 1440 by 900, so this is quite a nice upgrade there in terms of resolution. It was $100 from Apple. It is not the anti-glare display, it's the glossy display. I really like the glossy over the anti-glare because it has the black bezel. I just think it makes colors look a lot more vivid. And I really don't use this in an environment that's so light that I need the anti-glare display. However, if you do use your machine in outdoor areas with lots of direct sunlight, you probably will be better off with the anti-glare, because I have used this out on my patio in the summer when we have Ohio sun, usually 2 to 3 days a year, and it was kind of hard to read, but again, I don't use it outside much. But you'll see with the 15-inch, we've got the speakers on the sides. Most of you watching this video probably know a lot about the 15-inch. It's been around a long time. It's got the backlit keyboard, which is really nice, controlled here. This is my third MacBook Pro. I had a 13-inch 2009 and a 2010, so this is my first 15, and I am very happy with it. I made an entire separate video talking about the 13-inch versus the 15-inch in terms of portability, form factor, performance, price. So check out my channel for that. I actually had my old 13-inch right here on this table, and that video has been up on the channel for quite some time now. Here's a real quick comparison of the 13-inch obviously on top with the 15-inch below it. It's really just going to be size and weight. Thickness is absolutely the same on both models. So we'll just take a look around the sides. On the left side, you're not going to be surprised to see the MagSafe adapter. It's the same MagSafe that they've used for a couple years now. It's not the one that sticks out that's white. It kind of goes out to the side or the back. Over here, this is an Ethernet cord. Never used it, Ethernet port rather. FireWire 800, use this all the time. It's very quick. This is your mini display port or Thunderbolt, meaning that you can plug in an adapter to go to VGA, DVI, or HDMI and use a display, or use a Thunderbolt hard drive like the Lacy Little Big Drive. They're pretty expensive, but they're very fast right now. 2 USB 2.0 ports. I could definitely enjoy a third on there, but 2 is all we get. SD card reader, audio in and audio out. And the last thing over here is the battery indicator light. It's an LED green, if you can even see them on the camera, but it tells you how much power you've got. The black is where you're going, or the back is where you're going to see your hinge. On the right side is the optical SuperDrive bay, which I don't actually have one in here. I took it out and put in a data doubler from OWC. I have a 500 gigabyte 7200 RPM Apple hard drive in there. In the regular hard drive bay, I have a 120 gig SSD, the 6G Mercury Extreme Pro from OWC. It writes and reads around 500 megs per second, so that's very fast. And there is your Kensington lock. On the front, just an indicator light, IR sensor, or infrared, and your latch to open it up. And the bottom is just big piece of aluminum. I'd like to take a minute just to say real quick, the build quality of this is just phenomenal. The aluminum unibody feels so good. It's really, really tough and rigid and freezing cold when it's out here in my sunroom in Ohio in December. But the build quality of these is just phenomenal. You can really feel the quality. Opening the display, there's no give in it. It's just really well engineered, and you're paying for a very high quality product, and there's no doubt that you're not getting one. I will log in. I've had so many videos about this machine on my channel. You can see the screen resolution in its entirety. I'm not even typing in the box. The battery, they say it's good for 7 hours. If you use the integrated card, you can actually get an application that will allow you to switch between graphics cards. Right now it's on the integrated card. If I just do web browsing, I always keep the screen brightness on halfway right there. It's more than bright enough in most conditions. If I'm outside or in a light room, I will go ahead and put it up all the way, and that does seem to have an effect on the battery, but it's not huge at all. And the backlit keyboard really doesn't take any power, it's just LEDs, so don't worry about that taking power. But you can see the high-res display. I will open a Safari page and we'll load Yahoo's, the home page. You can see how well that fits. If we drag that over there, we open a new window, drag it over here. You can really view 99% of each web page if you put them side by side like that. So I went for the higher resolution display because I do a lot of video editing, and it would always be nice to have room on the screen to be able to see more of what I'm working with. However, the baseline 15-inch MacBook Pro and its lower resolution is definitely better than the 13 and is really okay, but for $100, I love the resolution. No surprise, up here you're going to find your iSight camera. On this model, it is 720p high definition over the old ones, which I think were 480p. So it's a nice upgrade there. The speakers are pretty good. I'll go ahead and launch iTunes. We'll play something real quick. There's 2 in here, and they're visible, and they point upwards, whereas the 13-inch, they're kind of underneath, and they point downwards. And it is a better sound, but honestly, I don't use these speakers too much. I'll see if I can find a song here. Alright, we've got iTunes volume all the way up. We'll just control it from here. There's about halfway. I'm going to play this song. It's Heart and Soul. I can't play very much of it, but the bass is not real strong, but they do sound pretty decent. I'll let you listen. Turn them up all the way, see how loud it is. There's not a whole lot of I don't know what you call it technically, but compression, I might say. When you turn it up all the way, a lot of times you lose your high or your low notes, and with these it's not bad. Not like the Bose speakers that I have, those are phenomenal, but you know, these are decent. It's the same size trackpad and whatnot. This machine is not at all difficult to carry around. I carry it back to school every day. It's not that heavy. It's under an inch thin. It's, I believe, 0.94, and this dimension here is just like 15.5 or something like that. But I highly recommend this computer. It's very fast. As I said before, I'll make another video talking about the screen resolution specifically, and another one after that sometime in the future talking about the GeekBench and the performance benchmark scores on this. I've used a couple different applications, CineBench for graphics and GeekBench just for processor and CPU, well, CPU and RAM. So I'll get into those scores later on, but as I said, I really like it. It's an expensive machine, but you're getting a lot of power here. This exports 720p videos in QuickTime 10 at about 60% of the video time. So if you have a 10-minute video, you put it in Final Cut, you edit it, it takes virtually no time to render, at least from a Flip video or Flip Ultra HD, whatever format that encodes in. It'll export that 10-minute video in just about 6 minutes if you're on the dedicated card. If you're on the integrated card, the export time doesn't vary, maybe really only 7 minutes, so you're gaining a minute or you're losing a minute there of export time, taking more time to export, but the rendering time and the performance while editing seems to go way down if you're going to use the integrated card. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to do some graphics intensive work, gaming, if you're going to run Windows on here, which by the way works very well. It runs Windows 7 better than any PC I've ever owned in terms of performance, reliability, and stability. Then you will want to use the higher end graphics card in here. But highly recommend it. It's an expensive machine. You get what you pay for. Thanks for watching the review, and I'll talk to you guys in a future video. Bye-bye.